Welcome to the Vineyard, everybody. So good to see you today. So good to be with you. So good to be with those of you joining us online. Hey, can we make some noise? Can we welcome in our online family? Come on, let's hear it for them. So my name is Kevin. I'm one of the pastors, and joining me on stage today is my wife, Pastor Debbie. Would you welcome her to the stage today? So we've been doing a little traveling lately, as some of you know. We've been out of town a little bit. 3 weeks ago, we traveled to Kenya, Africa. Yeah, that's a little bit of a plane ride, like 15 hours nonstop. So that's a journey. If you've never been on that before, that's an experience. But we had a wonderful time. We partnered together with our Vineyard USA pastors, some Vineyard USA pastors, as well as our global partners, Convoy of Hope, and Compassion International. And we had a chance to see what they do on the other side of the world, the difference that they're making in the lives of kids and families. And can I just say that it was an amazing trip. That 9-day trip was incredible. I fell in love with the people of Kenya, especially with these two little girls who decided that they would be my best friends.
They loved him.
And listen, you'll hear more about our trip to Kenya and how we as a church can continue to help and make a difference in that country and people around the world. But let me just say this, God is moving in the people of Kenya. Yes. So it was really cool, really cool, really cool. Then last weekend, we were out again. Last weekend, I had an opportunity to travel to where I'm originally from, Green Bay, Wisconsin. My adopted sister, Angie, got married, and I had a chance to officiate the wedding for her and her husband, Greg. You see up on screen. And so we were both there for that. But we are back now to be with you, Miami Vineyard family. I love you. I missed you.
It's so good to be home and be with you guys.
So this weekend, we are continuing a series that we've been in for the past several weeks called The Good Life, where God invites us. God invites us into the good life. And God says, if you do these things, if you live your life this way, if you will align yourselves with the wisdom I have for you, God says, you will live life like you've only dreamed of. We've been looking at one particular passage in the Bible where it talks about this. It's in Exodus chapter 20, where we commonly refer to them today as the 10 commandments, but we are reimagining them as 10 invitations that God gives to us to experience the good life. And can I just say, if you missed any of the past 6 weeks, you've got to go, you've got to watch the messages you missed. You can get them on YouTube. You can get them on MiamiVineyard.com. We had some help while we were away. Pastor Nick, Pastor Isaac did a great job of filling in and doing some of those messages. So listen, you might want to just take Memorial Day weekend. Just binge watch all the ones you missed. And there's been some great messages in this series. And so this weekend we're looking at the 7th invitation. But as we do that, I'd love for you to locate some message notes. Pastor Debbie's going to tell you how to find those message notes.
Yes, if you want those notes digitally on your phone, it's really easy. Just check out our app. If you don't have the app yet, you can download it by going to your app store and searching for Miami Vineyard. Or in front of you, if you're in the room, there's a QR code on a piece of paper like this. Scan that. It'll take you to the link. Download our app. And on the front page, it says, this weekend. Click there and you'll see message notes. If you want paper, I like paper. If you want paper, there are copies like this at the back by each entrance. You can go ahead and pick those up, and you have a pen. You can fill in the notes right there and track along with us.
All right, so here we go. This weekend, we're in invitation number 7. Just taking them in order. Invitation number 7, the commandment number 7, reads like this. God says, you shall not commit adultery. So let me put this in language that we can understand here in 2024. God says simply this, don't cheat on your spouse. That's what he's saying. Now, why? You think about it, these 10, this one made God's top 10. Why? Because God knows the pain that it experienced when this happens, when cheating happens. He knows the pain caused to the spouse. He knows the pain caused to you. He knows the pain caused to the family. He knows the pain caused to the extended family. He knows the pain caused to their family. He knows the ripple effect. And if any of you in this space or online has experienced the pain of adultery or the pain of cheating in a relationship, then I just want to say to you that I'm sorry. But secondly, that God sees you, he knows you, and God is here to bring healing and comfort to your soul. So Pastor Kevin, if that's the commandment, what's the invite? Okay, here's the invite. God is inviting us He wants to help us. He wants to bring his power into our life that we can live a lifelong healthy marriage. And we need God's help. Because I read this week that 57% of all divorces are caused by infidelity. 57%. So we want to talk to you today about valuing our vows. And let me just say this to those of you in the space today or online today who may not be married or who may be single or single again. Okay, I just want to say, I just got 2 words for you. Ready? Here they are. Be happy. Marriage is tough. Marriage takes a lot of work. So here we go.
I remember the day, July 26th, 1986. Do you remember that day?
What day again?
It was a hot Iowa day in the 90s. The church had no air conditioning. Yeah, ooh. It was brutal. I remember the flowers, the candles, the music. I remember the friends and family who gathered. I remember my white dress. I remember my father walking me down the aisle and how special that was and what a blessing. Because just 6 weeks before our wedding, he'd had a heart attack. And it was a miracle that he was even there. So that was such a blessing. And as we walked down the aisle, I looked up ahead and I just thought, wow, that man is mine. Kevin was wearing his white tux with tails, and he had hair, lots and lots of hair, and it was black. It was incredible.
No different than now?
No. I remember so much about that day, just like it was yesterday, but I really remember the words we said to one another. I remember hearing, "Do you, Debbie, take Kevin as your husband, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, as long as you both shall live?" And almost 38 years ago, I answered with 2 little words that changed my life forever. I said, "I do." So today, as we look at how to keep your vows, I think the best place to begin is with our point number 1. Remember the promise. Remember the promise. Remember. If you're listening here today and you're married, chances are you made some kind of similar promise that we did. The words might have been a little different. The intent was probably the same. And I've heard of some couples who get married and they make their vows say something like, "As long as our love shall last." And I think, well, good luck with that. Because it's just a setup for failure. Because our feelings come and go like the wind. You know, the first time you argue as a married couple, the first time your spouse disappoints you, the first time your spouse hurts your feelings. Now, I've never hurt your feelings, have I, Kevin?
You mean today?
Today, okay, today. Today, it's not even noon, and I haven't hurt your feelings, so that's a win. But those feelings of love can fade fast. That's why your marriage has to be built on a promise, a vow. For better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and health. And man, we sure wish we want the better, the richer, and the healthy part, don't we, when we say those vows? But chances are life often comes with the worse, the poor, and the sickness. So how do you stay faithful to one another when those rough times come? And I can guarantee you, they're going to come. How do you stay true to one another? By remembering what you promised. I will be faithful to you no matter what. I often joke with Kevin that I promised God on that day, in front of God and witnesses, that even if the unimaginable should happen and Kevin should cheat on me, I will not divorce him. But I never promised I wouldn't kill him. I think it's very strategic that God put the commandment, "Thou shalt not murder," right before "Thou shalt not commit adultery." I think he knew what he was doing with that one. So we remember our vows that we made on our wedding day. We remember the promises. And speaking of weddings, they get crazy. Everything surrounding a wedding is crazy. The brides have to say yes to the dress. The guys have to pick out the perfect ring and plan the perfect Instagram-worthy proposal moment, don't they? And then the guys have to have the exact number of friends to be groomsmen to correspond with the bridesmaids. The decorations, the reception, the location, the gift registry, candles, music, flowers. It's crazy. We have 3 daughters who are not married yet. And I get heart palpitations just thinking about those future weddings. And here's another crazy thought for you, the guest list. And you start doing all these gyrations to narrow it down, and you think, but if I invite this cousin, I gotta invite that cousin. And if I invite that coworker, that means I gotta invite these 2 coworkers, and it's wild. But do you know that there was someone there witnessing your promises, your wedding, that you didn't invite? You had a wedding crasher. Listen to these really cool words from the Bible. God was there as a witness when you spoke your marriage vows to your young bride. And now you've broken those vows, broken the faith bond with your vowed companion, your covenant wife. God, not you, made marriage. His Spirit inhabits even the smallest details of marriage. So guard the spirit of marriage within you. Don't cheat on your spouse.
Wow.
You could do a whole message on just those verses alone.
Sure.
But I want you to look at just that last part where it says, guard the spirit of marriage. What does that mean? I think another way of saying that is guard your heart. Guard your heart. It reminds me of another verse in Proverbs that says, above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. You know, your heart is your center. It's the core of who you are. It's what makes you you. So guard it. Protect it. Don't let anyone in there that doesn't belong. There's a part of my heart that only belongs to Kevin. No other human knows me the way he does. He knows my hopes, my dreams, my fears, my failures. And there are areas of my heart, my life, that he has access to. My heart is Face ID protected, and he is the only one it should match to. You can say aw there. Aw.
Let's see.
No. Yep. Every week, we hear of stories in the news about some sort of major security breach, right? The latest one I heard is AT&T. You know, all of their data got hacked. And we hear stories like that. There are a group gains unauthorized access to people's data. And what I'm saying is, don't let someone unauthorized hack their way into your heart. Protect your heart. Guard it. If there is someone who's trying to access that area of your heart that is locked and reserved for your spouse, you should be suspicious and question their intentions. If there's another person trying to go where only your husband or wife should go, they are up to no good. It's that simple. They're trying to steal something that doesn't belong to them. And knowing that, recognizing that, that's the first step to guarding your heart. Remember the promise you made by guarding your heart.
Remember the promise. We're talking about valuing your vows today. How to have a strong, healthy marriage. First, remember the promise. Here's number 2 if you're taking notes. Do the work. Do the work. It takes work to have a healthy marriage. It takes work. Good marriages just don't happen. We will have been married for 38 years in July together. 38 years. Can I tell you? Yeah. This doesn't just happen.
It was work. It's work.
How many of you, by show of hands, how many of you have been married for 10 years or more? Can I see your hands? 10 years or more? See your hands. Okay, if you're with us online right now, just put 10 in the chat. All right, follow-up question. By show of hands, how many of you would say that it's work to be married? Can I see those hands? Yeah, more hands up the second time than the first time. Yeah. It takes work. It takes work. One of the things it takes work at is we have to continue to pay attention to our spouse. If you think about it, this is how it all began. Think about it. Go back. This is how it all began. Somebody started paying attention to you, whether you met online, and whether maybe they slid into your DMs, whatever it was. Maybe it was at work. Maybe it was at a family gathering. Maybe who knows what it was. But somebody started paying attention to you, and you responded to that attention. That's how this whole relationship and the marriage started, by somebody paying attention to you. And can I tell you, it needs to continue that same way. But it's not easy. It takes work. And have you noticed that attention begins to wear off? Okay, let me give you an example. For example, let's say that you're getting a new phone. And let's say that you walk into that phone store, whatever phone you're going to get, and you pick up the latest phone, and you pick it up and you're going, wow, this is really nice. It's smooth, and it's so nice, and it's clean, and it's shiny. I mean, you're holding that new phone like it's a baby, brand newborn baby. And you're thinking about your new phone, and you're buying you got the screen protector on the front. You're buying a case for it. You could have bought a $20 case, but no, you're buying a $70 case. Because this matters to you. And if you're married and you've got kids and the kids ask to watch something in your phone, not this phone, check with your mom. You're not going to get this phone. All right, now, that's day one. Fast forward this about a year. Same phone. Dents all over the place. Scratches on the screen. You don't remember where you left it. And if the kids want to play with your phone, here, take my phone. You hope they drop it so you can get a new one. Now, that's okay to do with your phone, but it's not okay to do with your spouse. We've got to keep paying attention. Keep paying attention. I love this verse in the Bible that it says in Proverbs 5:19. It says this: never take her love for granted. I can summarize that verse for you in 3 words. Do the work. Never take her love for granted. Never take his love for granted. Because here's what happens sometimes. Life gets busy. We got jobs. We got careers. We got kids. We got family. We got Miami. We got all kinds of stuff happening. Life gets busy. But here's the deal. Our spouse still has needs. Our spouse still has needs. And if we're not the ones meeting those needs, they are ripe to get them met by someone else. And so a person comes along, either at work or at the gym, a close friend, a family member. By the way, I don't know if you know this or not, most affairs happen between close friends and family members. That's where they happen. But we aren't doing our job. We're not paying attention to their needs. And so they're ripe to have somebody else pay attention to their needs. Somebody begins noticing them. Somebody begins paying them compliments. And listen, at the beginning, it's totally innocent. Somebody's just commenting on your clothes or the way you look or whatever. It's totally innocent. It's totally benign. But then maybe we start enjoying those compliments. And now, all of a sudden, we take it to the next step, and nothing's still happening, but you start liking somebody noticing you. You're getting your needs met from somebody else, and so now you put yourself in a position where they're going to be. You adjust your schedule so it aligns with theirs. You pick up your kids the same time they pick up their kids. Now, all of a sudden, you have put yourself in a very precarious position. And I just got 3 words for you. If this is kind of where your mind is going, I got 3 words for you. Con mucho cuidado. Listen, be very careful. But come on, Pastor Kevin, it's nothing. It's just somebody just like commenting to me. It's nothing. It's nothing now. Because listen, affairs don't happen like you see them in the movies. You don't meet somebody and 10 minutes later you're in bed together. They don't happen that way. They happen this way. They happen because we have failed to pay attention to our spouse. And now they're ripe to get this attention from somebody else. And every time this attention is coming from somebody else other than our spouse, we're headed down a slippery slope. Because this attention is a spouse's job. If you're married here today, listen, if you're married here today, and you're not getting the attention you need from your spouse, let them know. Have a conversation with them. Have a courageous conversation and let them know that whatever's going on. I love it when she lets me know. Those aren't always fun conversations, but I love it when she lets me know. Because I don't always know. I don't always know. And ladies, can I just talk to you for a second? Can I just say, guys are kind of brain dead when it comes to this stuff? I'm just saying. Guys aren't always aware of the attention thing. They're not always aware of this kind of stuff. So listen, ladies. I know you're thinking to yourself, listen, ladies, you're thinking right now, listen, guys can't be that dumb. Oh, let me assure you, we are. I'm just saying. So speak up. But let me also say this. This goes both ways. It's not just the ladies who need attention. Guys need it too. I know guys, wear this tough, macho image. God, nothing. Ladies, I'm telling you, your man needs attention from you. And guys, your lady needs attention from you. This is the way God intended it to be. So do the work and pay attention.
Yes, marriage takes work, so pay attention to your spouse and be ready to make adjustments. Make adjustments. And you guys know about adjustments. Living in Miami, there's traffic, there's road construction. You adjust how you drive to work. Maybe you've gained a few pounds, so you have to adjust your diet. Or maybe you just choose to adjust your wardrobe. Sometimes it's just easier to buy a bigger size. But you know about making adjustments. Here at the Vineyard, if you've been with us for a while, you've had to make some adjustments about where to park, what entrance to come into. And just a few weeks ago, we made some changes with the seating, so you had to make adjustments and pick your spot all over again, didn't you? You guys know about adjustments. It's the same thing in marriage. We have to make adjustments. And not just in marriage, in any relationship. Life is all about figuring out how to be fluid and flexible and adjust to get along with other people. That's just the nature of relationships. For Kevin and I, there have been a lot of adjustments we've made for each other over the years. Here's one maybe you can relate to. When we were younger and our kids were little, we kept our air conditioning at 78 during the day and a frigid 76 at night.
I was saving money. I'm frugal. I was saving money.
He's tight. Don't call it what it is. He's a tight one. But as we got older, things changed. I changed. And Kevin, you may not know this, but you have a hot wife.
Oh, I know.
No, I mean hot. Hot wife, temperature-wise. So Kevin made an adjustment, and now we keep our house at 74 during the day and a very comfortable 71 at night. So thank you. Yes!
I just put extra blanket. It's good.
He's not comfortable with that, but I am. So thank you for making that adjustment. It's like 1 John 3:18 says, our love should not just be words and talk. It must be true love, which shows itself in action. Telling your spouse you love them is so important, but so is showing them. So is showing them. And we can do that by being willing to make adjustments, even when we don't feel like it. Because love is so much more than a feeling, it's a choice. Kevin made an adjustment for me and my temperature problem. An adjustment I made for him is what time we eat dinner at night. He loves to come home from work and go for a run, and that means we eat dinner later than I would like to. But I made an adjustment for him, and we eat dinner when it works for him.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome. That's putting my love into action. Maybe you have a blended family and you have to adjust your parenting styles. Maybe sometimes it's really a simple adjustment, like remembering to put the toilet seat down. Thank you. You always do that. He's always put it
from day one.
From day one. My mother-in-law did a great job with him. That's all I can say. Really good. That's a simple adjustment. Or maybe there's a health issue. It causes a diet change. That's an adjustment. Who takes the kids to school? Who picks them up? It might have to change. She loves cats, so you make an adjustment and have one or two.
Dear Lord, baby Jesus.
Even when it comes to sports teams you cheer for. Maybe you grew up cheering for the Minnesota Vikings, and you end up marrying the enemy, a Green Bay Packer fan. So what do? Well, in our house, there was only one option, and that was for me to adjust and become a Packer fan.
Come on, somebody. Yeah, let's go.
These are just small changes, small adjustments, but over time, they can make a huge impact. It's doing the work that helps you keep your vows. Adjustments can change the very trajectory of your marriage. I think about last week how we got on a plane here in South Florida and we flew to Wisconsin, to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I think about if our flight would have got off its path, off the course, just a little bit in the beginning, we might have ended up in Denver, not in Green Bay. It's the same for our marriages. Small adjustments in our daily lives can keep our marriage heading in the right direction. It can take two different people who come from different upbringings, different values, different cultures, and it's making the adjustments, the course corrections to make them one. That takes constant adjustments for the rest of your marriage. And just like that plane, the earlier you make the adjustments, the better off you're going to be. That's why here at the Vineyard, we want to help you. So if you're in a relationship that's headed towards marriage, we have an incredible class called our pre-marriage class. And we're going to be kicking that off in just a few weeks on Wednesday nights. So if that's you and you're looking at a wedding in your future, you might want to go to our app and check it out. Look for the pre-marriage class and keep your eye open for that, because that will help you start off in the right direction. Or maybe you're already married and you want to make some course corrections. We have another small group for married couples. Again, you can check out the app in the More section, and it'll tell you about those groups. It's never too late to start making adjustments. All that really is just thinking about the other person. Philippians 2:4 says, look out for one another's interests, not just your own. Stay flexible. Be willing to change as life changes. You want your marriage to be healthy and to keep your vows? Make adjustments and do the work.
Remember the promise. Do the work. And here's number 3 if you're taking notes. Here's the most important one of all. Follow Jesus. Follow Jesus. He's the one that holds this marriage together. He's the one that empowers your marriage to be successful. He's the one. He's the glue that when all the forces of society seemingly are fighting against marriage, God is fighting for marriage, and God is fighting for your marriage. I love this verse in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. A cord of 3 strands. So, look at this tripod up here for just a second. A marriage. You've got the husband. You've got the wife. But if all you have is 2 strands, not 3, but just 2 strands, husband and wife, I'm telling you, at your best, you're doing a balancing act, trying to make this thing work, trying to make it work. At your best, it's a balancing act. But when you add the 3rd cord and the 3rd strand, and by the way, this 3rd cord has a name, and his name is Jesus Christ. When you add the 3rd strand, now you've got a base, now you've got a foundation, now you've got a stable marriage. And as long as this stays tight, you do.
Did you break it?
I don't know.
He broke it.
There we go. There we go. That was too strong for the turn. Okay. Now, listen, because I'm telling you, the storms of life will come. I don't care who you're married to. The storms of life will come. What kind of foundation do you have when those storms of life come? You need a foundation that is 3 strands. Husband, wife, and Jesus Christ. That's how a marriage makes it. That's how a marriage makes it. Look at this verse from Colossians. And now, just as you accepted Christ Jesus as your Lord, you must continue to follow him. Let your roots go down deep into him, and let your lives be built on him. Then your faith will grow strong. Now listen, if there's never been a time in your life where you have said yes to Jesus, then I'm going to invite you to do that here in just a moment. But before I do that, I just want you to, I'm just going to back this up a little bit. So all you folks over here, I've got to look through that tripod. I read this week about a study done by Harvard School of Public Health. Okay, this is not a Christian institution. Harvard School of Public Health regarding marriage and divorce. Here's what they found. I thought this was so interesting. Here's what they discovered. Two things. One, if a person just simply says they're a Christian, like I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, their study said that had no impact on a marriage, on a divorce rate. Zero impact. By just saying you're a Christian. Zero impact. But if a couple regularly attends church together, that's it. Nothing more. Just if a couple regularly attends church together, here's what they discovered. If you go to church together regularly on the weekend, here's what they discovered. You will reduce your divorce rate by 47%. Just simply going to church together. Why? Because there's power in the church of Jesus Christ. There's power in the church of Jesus Christ. God's presence is here. His Spirit is here. And the messages you hear encourage you. People encourage you. So listen, can I invite us today? Invite us today. Remember the promise. Do the work. And follow Jesus. Would you pray with me as we wrap this up in a prayer today? Would you pray with me? And maybe as your heads are bowed and your eyes are closed, just a simple way of connecting with God right now. Joining us online, you're able to pray with us as well. We invite you to. So God, I want to thank you for every marriage in this space today. And listen, if you're seated next to your spouse right now, would you just maybe grab their hand and just give that hand a squeeze? And by doing that, you're saying, honey, I'm committed to you for the rest of my life. Now look, there may be some issues and there may be some problems and you got different stuff going on, but you're saying, honey, I am committed to you for the rest of my life.
Father, I just pray for all of the people that are sitting out here who might be struggling with their marriages. And they know there's a long road of work ahead of them. And things might not be looking good. And I just think of the song we sang earlier, that you make a way when there seems to be no way.
Yes.
So God, will you do that right now? Will you move on their behalf? Will you bring hearts together? Will you restore lives and marriages? Lord, will you open pathways of forgiveness for those who need to forgive their spouse? And God, I just pray for those sitting out here who aren't married and just really want to have that kind of a relationship. God, that that's their heart cry to you. Father, will you hear their prayers and answer them?
Yes.
Give them eyes to see who you've put in their path and give them wisdom to choose wisely.
Yes. Yes. And listen, if you're with us today, either in the room or online, and there's never been a time in your life where you have invited Jesus Christ to be the third leg or just into your life, then why not right here, right now, today? I'm going to say a prayer out loud, and you don't got to pray it out loud, but just pray it inside. Jesus, today, I open my life to you. I open my heart to you. Jesus, today, I want to follow you. I believe you've got the power to make a difference in my life. So Jesus Christ, today, I give my heart and my life and my hopes and my dreams to you. I surrender to you. I commit my life to you. So God, I thank you for what you're doing in our hearts and lives today. And I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.